You are being lied to about the cost of living in Thailand. Everyone says you can quote unquote live like a king for $1,000 a month. And yeah, you can if your idea of living like a king is nothing but instant ramen noodles and living in a shoebox. Today, I am breaking down the real cost of living in 2025. We're going through my monthly budget, dollar by dollar, category by category. That way, if you are planning a trip or maybe moving to Thailand soon, you know exactly what you're getting into. How's it going? I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Over the past year or so, I have seen video after video after video of people just bold-faced lying about how expensive some things are in Thailand. And yes, Thailand is still substantially cheaper than the West, but some things are changing and there's nothing better to ruin your time in Thailand than thinking you have enough money but you don't. In this video, I will let you know a few places you can save some money, some other places you shouldn't, as well as giving you an idea with 100% transparency what you can expect to spend in Thailand. All right, so our first section, I didn't really know what to call this. I ended up just labeling it as digital costs. This is things like internet, phone bills. For me, I pay around 800 baht for my condo Wi-Fi as well as my phone bill. Granted, I am grandfathered in on an older plan. Yours can vary quite a bit. I've heard people all the way from 200 up to like 600. Of course, just depends on the data plan if you want international calling, things like that. One big tip when it comes to Wi-Fi, you should definitely make sure you shop around. The way it kind of works in Thailand is certain buildings are wired for certain providers. So if that's something you're gonna need at your house, it's definitely worth asking before you rent. I highly suggest just getting a local SIM card. Chances are if you're coming from the West and you try to just use your international calling or whatever is offered from your current provider, it is probably going to be massively more expensive. All right, next up, the boring stuff that nobody likes to pay, but we all have to. That is utilities. So for my utilities, I pay around 1,500 baht per month. Usually that ends up being about 1,200 electric and then about another 200 for water. Water is pretty much always gonna be dirt cheap. Electric really depends on the size of your condo or especially your house. And it really depends on if you have a newer air conditioner or not. If you go into a place and the air conditioner is very old, it's highly likely that it's much less efficient. Me, when I go into a place, I look to see if it's gonna be in the sun all day. That will definitely kick your bill up quite a bit. I've had some closer up to like 3,000 baht a month, which for Thailand is pretty expensive, but still by comparison. I usually pay around $30 to $40 USD every month for water and electric. Okay, up next is transportation. So this is one that's going to vary quite a bit depending on your situation. I spend around 300 baht per month on gas for my motorbike. Having your own bike is 100% the most efficient way to get around town. If you want to rent a bike, you can plan for around 2,500 to 3,500 baht per month. Now that is if you are renting the whole month. If you are renting it day by day, it's going to be much more expensive and you're not going to have some fancy big bike that's going to be a little 125. And if you're planning to take taxis everywhere, of course, it really depends on how much you're running around, but I think this could realistically hit like 5,000 baht a month if you're not careful. So if you're looking for the most efficient way, I highly suggest to get your own bike. This is kind of dependent on Pattaya. If you're in a place like Bangkok where you've got the trains and everything, you could probably save a bunch more on that. You're not going to be using the taxi as much. But remember, if you do have your own bike, the only way to make sure it stays cost efficient is if you have a Thai license or your legitimate international license. If you're getting stopped by the boys in brown once a week, that is gonna add up very quick. In the next section, healthcare. This is another one that's really boring, but it is something you should definitely have. I had a friend tell me one time that healthcare is like sunscreen. If you don't have it when you needed it, it's gonna be really bad. It's not fun initially, but it will save you a lot of pain further down the road. So for mine, I pay around 450 baht a month. It's pretty cheap. Medical care in Thailand is very cheap and affordable generally. If you're not careful though, it's very easy to be riding around on a motorbike or something like that. Dog runs out in front of you, you wad it up, and now you are in the hospital. And even though it is relatively affordable to back home, it can still get very expensive very fast if you're not careful. All right, this next section is one that I absolutely dropped the ball on before I was getting ready to come to Thailand. It was one of those things I was just kind of like, oh, I'll just figure it out. How bad could it really be? How expensive could it really be? This is another one of those that's gonna vary quite a bit depending on your situation. If we're talking month to month, I'm on the DTV, so minus my 90-day reports. I don't spend a whole lot on month to month expenses, but this is really gonna vary quite a bit depending on your situation. If you are in a spot where you're gonna have to be going out and taking time out of Thailand and then coming back, of course, those hotels, those flights, if you have to leave every 90 days, I know it might not seem like it right now. That might sound like a lot of time, but trust me, allegedly, once you do start doing that, those 90 days start to go by quick, and that money adds up quick. That's 4 trips a year. So that's something you should definitely consider. Have your mind wrapped around how much it's gonna cost you, what the whole system is gonna be, if you're gonna have to be running around constantly. The planning ahead of time is very, very worth it when it comes to this, not only just for your wallet, but also your peace of mind. The big one that's gonna vary so much person to person, and that is just kind of fun and leisure. So for myself, I budget about 4,000 to 5,000 baht per month for just stuff to do. You wanna go to a fancy restaurant, you wanna go to the movies, maybe you wanna go on a little date night. This is one that's gonna be all over the place for everybody. But what I will tell you is if your idea of fun is going to the bar or the club, I'm not judging. I was definitely on that wave for a long time, but this is the one that I feel like sneaks up on a lot of people. Yes, it is true. Thailand nightlife is much cheaper compared to America. But if you are constantly going out, you're constantly buying drinks for everybody, or you're going to the club or whatever, this will add up so quick. I tell everybody, if you want to party pretty consistently, you should figure out what your budget's gonna be, look at some menus and stuff online, and then add at least 30 to 40% of that. And the big thing you cannot do in this situation, as well as in our next section, you can't constantly be comparing prices in Thailand to back home. Yes, it's gonna be much cheaper than it was back home, but if you're constantly doing this, it's really easy to just be like, oh, this costs $25 in America, it's only $10 here. And at least with me, that ends up kind of tricking me into thinking I'm not spending that amount of money. It's like when you go into the store and you see a 50% off coupon. If the thing is $10 and it's just $10, you're like, I'm not gonna buy it. But if initially it was $20, and now it's 10, oh, it's 50% off. No, you still spent $10. So that is very important when it comes to your fun activities, especially at the bars and stuff like that, as well as our next section. When I was in America, by far, my biggest expenditure every month was food. Luckily, for the most part, food is very affordable in Thailand. For me, I budget about 6,000 to 8,000 baht per month. But the big thing here is if you wanna go out, you wanna eat Western food all the time, you wanna go eat burgers, you wanna go eat pizza, then it's gonna add up much quicker. Now, on the other side of that, if you're going to the night markets, you're eating at the local Thai spots. If you want to keep your food budget low, that's the route you're gonna have to go. It's easy to get caught in that trap. You go and order a pizza, you're like, wow, it's only 300 baht here. That's like $8. Pizzas are $20 back home. Yes, very true, but as far as Thailand goes, like 300 baht for one meal is kind of expensive compared to if you take that 300 baht and went to the night market, you can get a ton of food. Don't get me wrong, I know it's the food we grew up eating. I still love burgers and pizza every once in a while, but if you are gonna be on a tighter budget, I highly suggest going to the night markets, finding some Thai food you like, and that will save you a ton of money. Now, over the past year or so, I have gotten my monthly budget way, way down, and a big part of that is our next section, and that is just dating. How much money do I allot for dating every single month? Zero. I have just been focusing on this and you guys in this channel, trying to get my money right, trying to get to where we want to go. But I know a lot of guys are coming to Thailand. Maybe you're looking for love. Start wrapping your mind around that you're gonna have to pay for those opportunities. And I don't even necessarily mean paying for the transactional relationships. A lot of the times, a lot of Thai girls, if you want to go out to dinner, you want to go take them somewhere, they are going to let you foot the bill. Don't get me wrong, I've met a few girls that, want to split, or they'll even pay the bill. But for the most part, if you're planning to take somebody out, you can plan on footing the bill. And Thai women, just like any other women really, a lot of the time they like fancy shit. They want to go to the best places. They want to eat the best food. So definitely consider that if that's something you want to do while you're getting your budget together. And when we mentioned earlier, the videos I've been seeing that are just straight hogwash that people are just lying about for some reason is this next section, and that is rent. I'm sure you've seen it, the standard TikTok, Instagram formula. Come with me and look at my $300 a month condo. And then they take you through some condo that's right on Sukhumvit in Bangkok in the Asok area. It's got 5 infinity pools, state-of-the-art gym. And then they tell you it's $300 a month. Thailand, just like anywhere else, if you see something that is too good to be true, it more than likely is. Now, that's not to say that you can't get sweet deals here. So I pay about 10,000 baht a month for my condo. Granted, I'm overpaying a little bit. I kind of got caught up and had to get a spot very quick. But if you budget 8,000 to 12,000 baht per month, you can get a nice little studio or maybe a 1-bedroom if you find it in a good spot. But if you want to be in these super fancy, nice, Western areas, you're going to pay a premium for that. Yes, they are going to be substantially cheaper than what you would pay in America for that same quality of home. But like we said, you cannot compare everything to back home, or else you're going to be spending a lot of money that you probably don't need to. So basic studio in a decent area, you could probably find one in most places for about 8,000 to 10,000 baht. A nicer condo itself, or in a better location, if you want the brand new buildings, the floor to ceiling windows, all the infinity pools, you could probably take that up to 14,000 to 18,000 baht. Now, if you want the absolute luxury high rise with the rooftop pool, all the crazy windows, and you want to be on the quarter, you can expect to probably pay around 25,000 baht. When you see people showing you these super fancy places and saying they're $300 or $400, a lot of the time they are not. You can find good deals, especially if you have a bike and you're willing to be a little bit further out. You can find awesome deals still, but nobody is renting you a 3 million baht condo for 8,000 baht a month. Let's be realistic here. So is Thailand cheap compared to the West? Absolutely. But I think the whole, come to Thailand and live like a king for $1,000 a month, I think those days are gone. In the age of the internet that we live in, it is pretty easy to find out what things realistically cost. And speaking of what things cost, we have a brand new shirt design in the Tempus TV store. If you like Thailand, you like motorsports, feel free to go check it out. It is a great way to support the channel. The design was made by yours truly. It took way longer than it should have, and I was pretty much cross-eyed by the end of it. So please go buy it. If you did make it this far in the video, thank you so much for hanging out. But it is about that time for me. I will see you guys in the next video. Doors that way.